Welcome to Salcedo Paranormal. It is Sunday, October 23rd, 2022, and tonight I'll be sharing true paranormal stories from the web. As always, you can find all of the episodes of the show along with links to social media, ways to donate, and ways to contact me at the podcast page. And that is salcido.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions, or if you have stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. A couple of reminders for the week. The plan is tonight, True Paranormal Stories from the Web. Also, we'll be doing that on Tuesday night. Tomorrow night, I'll be covering paranormal news, and I'll do that again on Thursday night. And then Wednesday will be this month, where instead of doing a topic-based episode on the last Wednesday of the month, I'm going to review more Lovecraft because over the weekend on Friday, and then not Friday, Saturday. There we go, and then also next Monday on Halloween. Those will be topic-based episodes. So, figured can't really go through the whole month of October without reviewing some Lovecraft along with the Stephen King I did a couple weeks ago. So, and also another reminder, on the 30th, next Sunday, I'm doing a call-in show where you all can join me one at a time. Basically, that means I will give you the permission to unmute your microphone, and I'm looking to hear from you all about your favorite paranormal media, whether it's regular books or comic books, or TV shows or movies, anything like that. We could even open it up to anything really. Favorite Halloween decorations or costumes, favorite kinds of events to go to, just anything really related to the paranormal and Halloween. So, and looking forward to that. That should be fun. And so that'll be this coming Sunday, the 30th. So, and again, the 29th, that will be Saturday, I will be having Michael Strange from Troubled Minds Radio on with me, so that'll be fun. And then Halloween itself, I'll be having Derek on with me, friend of the show, as well. Both are great in their own things that they do. With Mike's show, and then with Derek, he calls into a lot of shows, and you all heard him on here before several times, so that should be a fun few days there. So I think that covers everything for now. Just want to remind you all about those things. Those next weekend should be a lot of fun. If I can figure out something to do on Friday that doesn't require a lot of research, I might do a show on Friday. We'll see. I should take a day off, but it's Halloween, so I kind of want to do a full weekend of shows. But I'll let you all know how that goes when it gets closer. I might need one night off in between, so whether I want to take one or not. So yeah, I think that covers everything, and I'll get to these stories here that I found tonight. None of them are terribly long, but there's still some neat ones in there, so I will get to those right now. And I might do a one thing I was thinking of. I might do a show, like a favorite stories submitted kind of show. Just some of the ones that I've read since I started the show that are the strangest to me, that don't fit into any one category. I was thinking about that tonight, but again, we'll see about that for Friday. All right, so this first one here. Let me get that to the right position. Okay. So, and thank you all, as always, for listening to these shows. That's what I forgot to say. Whether you make it for the live stream or you listen to the YouTube or podcast feeds. Those numbers keep going up, and I really appreciate that. So, yeah, I think that's everything. So let me get back to this file here. All right. The story says, excuse me, says, I have been visited at night many times by different entities. One I would like to know about was much more intense, powerful, and more real than all the rest. I opened my eyes from sleep. It came into my room and up to my bed. It stared into my eyes. It was pale white, had shoulder-length hair and long fingernails and black voids for eyes. It touched the center of my palm 3 times and said it never had one like me before. After that night, I had the most intense and powerfully real dreams I have ever experienced. What is this creature? And that's where that story ends, and I really am amazed at how the writer doesn't really, you don't get the usual, or it seems like it's usual with a lot of these stories, how they're terrified or they think it's evil or any of that. In the story, they just explain what happens. Maybe it's because they've seen things before many times. The entity's words could be taken in a negative direction, but they don't. I don't think they have to be, because it doesn't sound like whatever this was did any harm to the person. So this is one of those stories I think that kind of illustrates my point that all this stuff, even though it may appear as though it might be so strange that it should be frightening, not everyone who has these experiences is frightened. And even if they are, in some cases, after they may look back on it, sort of as I have with some of mine, and realize it really wasn't that negative. It was startling, and so it frightened me, but I didn't get a bad feeling from whatever I saw. Of course, I don't know. They don't really go into any other detail. I wonder how often this one figure, if it ever appeared again. But I also wonder if it has something to do with dreams. It does seem to have some connection to maybe the dream world. I wonder if or if they came from the dream world somehow, or interact through it, travel through it. I think I've talked about here before a few times how sleep and dreams and altered states of consciousness, that seems to be a way into these other realms, these astral projection or astral realms, maybe even spirit realms, in terms of when people have dreams of loved ones that seem far too realistic or vivid to be ordinary dreams. I've had that as well. So a lot of possibilities there with that story. So had to share that real quick. So that's the first one. And now I will move on to the second one. Here. I have 4 of them for tonight, so I have 3 more to go. Okay. This says, let me see here. This is my first post here, and that's from a website. And it's just to pick everyone's brains about something I saw roughly 4 to 5 years ago. I am a competitive shooter and have been for about 7 years, and have been hunting for even longer. I enjoy being in nature, as most young men do, it says. So around late August, this is Texas, so sweltering heat, a friend and I are in a double-seated tree stand hunting for hogs, but mostly just sitting and enjoying the quiet. Then an hour or so before dusk, these 2 canines come out. The grass in this area is about belly height on a deer, or doe, I'm sorry. And oddly enough, these canines are about the same height. They are walking in an odd, upright position, like a coyote when they stop to listen, but all the time, even while moving along. I'm guessing they mean they were standing on their back legs. They were jet black and wiry, but chunkier than your average coyote. I have never seen a single black coyote before this moment, let alone two, and gargantuan at that. So, as one would expect, my friend and I each pick one as they move past us, and we both take a shot. 50 yards maximum, a chip shot. Nothing. No pitched yelps, no blood, no broken foliage of an animal veering off the game trail, excuse me. And obviously, no dead canine. To this day, we have never seen them again, on any trail cams or in person. I still hunt the property, and we've taken several normal coyotes, but nothing like what I saw. Those things are the only reason I don't thermal hunt alone at this place. I didn't even know that was a thing. It says, I don't feel safe in the woods at night here. I have NODS, I don't know what that is, some kind of hunting deal. A helmet mounted thermal and a rifle mounted thermal, along with sidearm, and I feel like prey. Thoughts? It says. So it sounds like they saw a couple of, excuse me, possible upright. I said possible twice. Anyway, upright. Maybe I don't know, wolfmen or werewolves, or I don't know what they saw, but they if they were standing upright and walking along. The other amazing thing is that when they were fired at, nothing appeared to happen. Yeah, Dogman, possibly. Hello, APOC. Yeah, it's and especially with the way that they just apparently seem to disappear, um, and never to be seen again on the property. That's an amazing encounter right there. Um, and that was more than one person, so that's not just one person imagining things. So that I thought that was a really amazing story about a couple of hunters who obviously know what they're doing in that world. Have all the gear and all that. That they fired at these two things that do not sound like they were normal. I'm just guessing. So, because I know nothing about any of that, but still, it does sound like possible dogman, werewolf kind of something. So, yeah, neat story there, and I guess I'll move on to the next one. So let me see here. Just gotta find it. Okay, here we go. This one says, my childhood, 1970s home, was on a street that dead-ended into a cemetery. Where the street ended, two 10-foot stone columns marked the beginning of the cemetery. A street light stood about 5 yards before the columns and lit up the areas, I guess they mean, come dark. When I was 10 years old, I was allowed to play outside in the neighborhood until 9 p.m., or about dark in the summertime. One early fall evening, it was about 8:30. It was getting dark early, but I was determined to stay out until 9. A friend of mine lived in the last house before the cemetery began. I went there and knocked on the door, asking the mom who answered if my friend could come out. She agreed and said, wait a minute, I'll get her. I sat down on the front steps to wait for my friend and looked toward the cemetery columns. I saw a man standing there on the cemetery side, kind of shadowy as the streetlight had not come on quite yet. But I could see him well enough. He had on green pants and a shirt, the kind workers wore. And he was smoking a cigarette. I thought he might be from the neighborhood. I literally blinked, and then he vanished. At the same time, the streetlight blinked on. The man was gone. I could see far enough in all directions to know he couldn't have walked away in any direction. I was so spooked, I jumped up and ran home, not waiting for my friend. And that's where the story ends. I feel bad for the friend in a way, too, though, because they probably came out to the front of their home and was wondering why the writer had just left all of a sudden. So, but I also wonder, living right next to a cemetery, if that friend ever had any experiences. Their family did. I mean, obviously, it's I don't know for sure that people who live right next to cemeteries have things happen all the time, but there are plenty of stories where things do happen there. So, yeah, I don't know with that one, but and it's neat that the figure was on the cemetery side. They weren't in the street. I wonder if what the significance is there. So, of course, it's hard to know, but yeah, neat story there. So I have one more. As I said in the beginning, none of these are really long stories today, so this will be a kind of a short one. But I share what I find, and these are what I found today. So here's the last one here. This one says, "This happened to my dad, not me. Around 2 years before I was born, my dad was taking the night shift at a school. He was a custodian. He went around the school, checking if anything was, excuse me, anything was off and cleaning. After he was done doing his job, he went to exit the school. Before he left, he went to close and lock the doors inside one of the hallways. He did so, and right when he turned around, all of the doors had slammed shut at once. He was terrified and closed and locked them as fast as possible. He ran out and got out of there." Excuse me. And that's amazing. Schools like that. I've been in a couple schools at night, and they can feel strange when they're not full of people. Um, I kind of talked about this a while ago. I always wonder with these places that are only fully occupied for part of the day. I always wonder if maybe there are other, whether it's spirits or other beings, other entities that go to these places when they maybe see it's empty or know it's empty, and they just kind of gather there. They use them as temporary shelters in a way. Maybe that whoever was there decided, okay, this guy's been here long enough, and just was trying to get him out of there. Might not have even been there might not have even been a negative intent there, but it definitely startled the guy, and I don't blame him. Of course, I'd be the weird one trying to figure out how it happened and trying to talk to whoever's there, but that's me. So yeah, neat story. I love those stories from family members about things that happened to them before. Those are always amazing because usually you can kind of tell when you know someone well enough, you can kind of tell if they're joking around or not. And doesn't sound like that was a joke. So, but yeah, so neat story there, and looking forward to this coming week. The rest of this week, and then Halloween weekend. That's going to be a lot of fun. So, and tomorrow night I'll be covering paranormal news. So I will talk to you all then on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care, everyone.